as an individual or my sense from the ego perspective, the I is no longer existing, and the affirmation saying that now that it is master or God or the ultimate, all your existence, um, it is you, right? So you are the one who's taken on the reins and you are kind of existing going forward, right? So there's a day and time when you said, okay, you've stopped to exist with an affirmation, and now it's you. And in a way, from the inside, you felt that it is you who is kind of moving forward. So is that even a state of surrender, or is that just us kind of fooling ourselves, stating that we have surrendered and the reins are in his control?
So, like I just said, the state of surrender is nothing but I'm ready to accept what is being poured into me or what is being given to me. That is all the state of surrender is all about. Now, here we are not bringing the concepts of whether I am receiving and he is giving, or he is receiving, I am giving. There are no I and he. Because we always look at these two entities, I and he. He being, we can say God or essence, higher, the principle, the master, all the things, right? But it is not about I and him. It is about the state is created and it pours in. That's all it is.
Yeah. So in this, if the affirmation is that I does not exist and only the ultimate is the one that is taking it up, right? Kind of
This
going
whole
forward.
concept of I should not be existing puts a lot of deviation in my mind. That's why this whole concept of who am I, the I should not be there, only he should be there. This whole concept created a huge conflict and delusion in the mind. Okay. That's why we should not be paying much attention to who and I. So there's always this question, if I'm praying, who is praying? Am I praying? Then I should not be there. Then how can I pray? If the surrender is happening, who is surrendering and who is what? So this whole, it creates a big confusion. I think we should remove this concept of whether I should exist or the ego should exist or not. Without ego, no one can function. If I'm functioning, if I have to function, the ego has to exist. So what we are doing here is we are refining that ego. We are creating those subtle states within so that my heart can receive the higher essence. Now here the heart is it your heart or the heart? Make it as a principle, receiving this higher essence, and with the mind and ego to support it. So now here there is no concept of whether I should be there, I should not be there. All these things create a lot of confusion, and we can never resolve it in the mind. So the scriptures have, like so-called the Vedantic principles have created this without understanding. But if I am in a state of deep meditation, who is in deep meditation? Who is experiencing the deep meditation? How can I say I'm in deep meditation? So now the moment I say this I should not exist, I'm eluding all this experience. So it's very bizarre concept. This whole I should not be there and only has to be one. There are not two. Yes, but as long as there is an action, as long as there is an existence, the I element will be there. We're not trying to throw the I, but as this I is refined, it comes in touch. It comes in touch with that essence. When it comes in touch with that essence, it is that essence itself. When it comes in touch with any material object, it becomes that material object itself. So there is never a statement I can make that, oh, I am completely devoid of I. It's not possible. It's a futile attempt people make, and then slowly they start deluding themselves, and they tell, oh, I don't exist. I don't know if the God is speaking. I am speaking. I don't know. These are all delusional, a delusional mind coming up with those statements. I'm sorry if I'm hurting anyone's concepts, but this is how I understood it.
Yeah. So when you say come in touch with the essence, what does that imply? Because when you're meditating, you're in touch with the
Deep state
essence.
of meditation, this mind comes in contact with that higher essence, and it becomes that essence in that state, right? And so the whole idea of this, whether there is a duality or there is only one, no
But
dvandvas.
the I would, yeah. So, but the I would still continue to exist in that context, right? So, although it's gotten in touch with the divine essence, uh, that is still there, but the I is still kind of continuing, right, in your life form, because as you rightly mentioned,
All
if
that is
there's
happening is
Mhm.
this I is becoming more and more refined to receive this essence.
Okay.
That's all. I mean, easy way to look at.
Okay.
All right. So now, Babuji's famous statement, be in tune with nature. We always wonder, what is this be saying? What is it saying? Being in tune with nature. Correct. So so this brings the concept of the 10 maxims which he quoted, which he said, okay, these 10 maxims, if we follow, the this refinement becomes very natural, easier, and as we practice, there is no effort required. It becomes almost effortless. So we did talk about the general, the spiritual anatomy. We did talk about meditation, cleaning, all these practices, but we never did not got into this aspect of how this whole thing is becoming in tune with nature. So today we'll try to understand that concept a bit. And the easiest thing for me to do today is not to talk much and play Daji's commentary on Maxim1. It gives us a very good idea, but I'll just set the preamble. So what it is, I mean, the nature from the day and night, how the movement is happening in the nature. It's all about movement we are talking about. It's all the vibrations we're talking about. How this movement is happening, how the rise and the temperature is affecting our system, the body. So whenever we talk about a system or a body, we are not talking here just the physical aspects of it. We are referring to the subtle body and the causal body and how it is interacting with the nature. And how we can tune this system along with the nature so that our effort becomes uh, smoother, refined, more and more refined. So that means basically practice. It's all about practice, right? And practice makes us perfect. Let me start sharing my screen and then we can. So here today we talk about this element, the 5 elements and the 10 principles or the 10 maxims. These are 10 maxims precisely or 10 principles precisely because they're universal, they align. So here it is not some, a decision or a point we are making. Here it's not about do's and don'ts. That's why they are principles. If you see the 10 commandments, it's all about do's and don'ts, or thou shall not or thou shall. So here it's not about thou shall not or thou shall. It's all about for me to align with this nature and how it flows. If I go with the nature, my effort becomes easier. If I have to swim upstream, I have to put in a lot of effort. If I have to swim downstream, there is not much effort required, right? It's all about that. I wanted to kind of share this statement which Daji mentioned. I mean, I really liked it. This is from the Heartfulness magazine, the part one. The title of the topic is A User's Guide to Living, part one. So I would recommend if you get a chance to read that. Then the energy itself in long run returns to the absolute. See, this whole idea is that anything which is manifested has to go back to its seed form. And the first manifestation, it appears to be that energy itself. Then the energy manifested into the matter. So if the matter, it has to go back to its seed form, it has to be in energy. Because the seed of the matter is energy. So it has to go back to energy. Then when energy has to go back to return to its seed form, it is that absolute from where it came from. It's neither power nor powerless, or the cause of the power. The cause of the power is also manifested from that which is neither power nor powerless. Right? So that's why this whole absolute is known as neither this nor that. When the seers wanted to define God, they don't have any reference book, they don't have any borrowed knowledge. The danger of today is we act so much on the borrowed knowledge. And here heartfulness comes and says, okay, all this information is good. This is all borrowed. And how can you make this as your real experience, as your real knowledge? Right? So that's why, the way seers have learned all these things is only through meditation. The matter and energy was spoken, 5,000 years back before even Einstein came up with the E is equal to m square equation. And this is a real incident which was told or spoken many times by Daji and Chariji about sometime in 1972. Babuji was in London and some scientist came to visit him and he was not much impressed by Babuji until Babuji started talking about the quantum physics. He was explaining the Niels Bohr atomic model, and that scientist was bewildered. I mean, he have no education here from a rural place in India and who have no exposure to any scientific advancements which are happening on the world. How did you know it? And Babuji's answer was, I penetrated into the matter to see what is there, into the atom to see what is there. So now you can see the how much the spectrum of consciousness mind can get to, if we know how to apply it. So this whole practice is how to apply this mind and where to apply this mind. And how we can enhance or expand this spectrum of consciousness. That's all the spiritual practice is all about. So when we come into this concept of Dvaitas, Advaitas, Vishishtadvaitas, I mean, we'll only be losing it in discussions, in the borrowed knowledge, in perceptions and understandings. But here, the real matter, the real crux, we're never going to see. That's why it's all about practice and make the mind subtler and subtler, so that we can see all these things ourselves. So what happens in meditation? With all the new scientific advancements, all the EEGs and whatnot, we can study the brain patterns, the brain wave patterns, of the people who are meditating. And what they found, so when we are looking at something, the effect of it, where are we monitoring this effect of it is on the physical system. Obviously, there are no instruments to monitor at the subtle level. Our own mind can monitor that at the subtle level, but when it comes to instruments, they can only monitor at the physical level. And what they have seen is there is a reduced blood pressure, improves learning and memory, and there are certain delta waves. They slow down in the delta waves produced while meditating. But there were some statements that we can even reach to the theta states, right? And in Sanskrit it is known as Turiya Sthiti. So the meditation takes us much deeper than what we can even fathom. But it takes a lot of years of practice to get there. And what heartfulness has done is, the teachers have done is, the discovery of this yogic energy, pranahuti, this meditation process can be accelerated. We can reach those deeper states even with the first stroke of meditation. The first stroke of transmission can get us there. So it's all about this transmission, which makes this process faster, so that we can go deeper and deeper, and we can understand, we can refine our states more and more as we practice. So Daji kind of, beautifully presented these 10 maxims from Babuji, kind of, scientifically divided them. So he divided these 10 elements of practice, or 10 principles, and he rolled up into a 5 elements, which is practice, essential values, behavior, being and doing, leadership, and continuous improvement. It's always continuous refinement. There's no end. So we will understand the aspect of practice today. I'm kind of moving fast so that I can play Daji's video that is about 20 minutes. I'll get to the video straight.
Rise before dawn and offer your prayer and meditation at a fixed hour, preferably completed before sunrise.
Yeah.
We cannot see you at the video though. I can see you in the video. Are you sharing the video too?
I'm sharing the video, and is the rest of you are seeing the video?
We are not seeing the video.
No, Srikanth, cannot see the video.
Okay.
Now we can. Yeah.
All along I thought I was sharing my presentation. That's fine. All right. Let's play.
Eyes have a separate.
Okay.
Rise before dawn and offer your prayer and meditation at a fixed hour, preferably completing them before sunrise. Have a separate place and seat for meditation. As far as possible, develop the habit of sitting in one and the same pose. Give special attention to purity of body and mind. Although we exist at a certain period in time, a great body of knowledge has come down to us through the ages. The ancients discovered that certain times of day are more conducive to meditation than others. These times have been called sandhyas or conjunctions because they are the times when one part of the day meets the other. Dawn, dusk, and noon are all sandhyas. During the day, most of us are engaged in some sort of activity, mental or physical. The sun heats up the atmosphere, and this heat is only slowly dissipated at night. Before dawn, the atmosphere is at its coolest. Our body and mind have been rested and are rejuvenated and refreshed. Our daily activity has not yet commenced, so our mind is not drawn towards the coming day. The time before sunrise is therefore especially well suited for meditation. Daji offered a practical exercise to perceive the influence of the time of day on the human body. He asked the people present to observe the flow of energy within them for 24 hours and to note whether the energy flows outward or inward. He also asked them to observe their breathing pattern and note which of the nostrils is dominant. At different times, a different nostril dominates the breath. When they reconvened the next day, most reported that they felt energy flowing outward in the daytime and flowing in at night. Also, in the day, the right nostril was dominant, whereas at night, it was the left nostril.
So does this say something to us? That during that time, energy is flowing out. Night time, you're absorbing. The cycle continues. There's a deep science behind all these things. Science today recognizes this as circadian rhythm. They measure various neurotransmitters, hormones, and various other parameters from morning and measure the whole entire 24 hours and see what happens. Cortisol level early in the morning versus cortisol level at night. It will differ. Energy also. I don't think they have started measuring energy inflow and outflow. We can perceive them. Meditators can easily perceive inflow and outflow of energy. Our genetic system is predisposed now to the solar movement. It adjusts itself. For millions of years, it has come to this habit of orienting the entire physiological system functioning around the solar cycle and the lunar cycle as well, and who knows many other planetary influences which is so subtle we are unable to measure. But at least these two influences we can measure easily. Surya Nadi they call. The Nadi means the energy channel and Surya means the sun. Energy channel that is provoked by the sun during daytime, they call it Surya Nadi. And the one in its absence, what happens is the other Nadi, any other energy channel, and automatically they give the name Chandra Nadi, means lunar energy channel. During daytime, right nostril and left nostril, based on the energy requirements, keep switching. But most of the time during day, it will be the right nostril that will be predominating, and at night time, the left one.
Study of the human nervous system reveals that in the day, the sympathetic system is active, which prepares the body for intense physical activity or a fight or flight response. It is also the time when the right nostril or Surya Nadi breathing is dominant. At night time, the parasympathetic system takes over, which relaxes the body and slows down physical activity. At this time, the left nostril or Chandranadi breathing is dominant.
So when you want to, let us see, immediately shift away from fight or flight response, anxiety response. If you can breathe through your left nostril, which is Chandranadi, this response can be to a large extent circumvented. And close your right and breathe with the left 10 times or so. So the anxiety will somehow, to a large extent, will be reduced. Now what happens? How Babuji, through his intuitive ability, was able to compare this with the original creation with the morning. And through his observation, he found that just before the morning, all night, where you have been absorbing energy. Now, before sunrise, if you can meditate, the energy is flowing in all the time, before the sunrise. And when transmission is also joining the flow of your natural rhythm, it becomes a natural cycle automatically. One tends to go deeper in meditation instantly because your natural tendency to absorb before sunrise, and now aided by transmission, it is going with the flow. He gives an example of swimming against and swimming with the currents of the river. You see, it's difficult to flow against the currents of the river. So why doesn't take the advantage of time when the nature's energy is flowing inward, the circadian rhythm allows you to absorb, and the inflow of transmission. All these things come together and support us during meditation if completed before. You got it now. Okay, before the sunrise.
However, we all have different responsibilities and constraints and a unique set of circumstances in life. It is not easy for all to adhere to completing their meditation before sunrise.
We all have our weaknesses. I can't get up before dawn. If we miss the first opportunity of meditating before dawn, any other time will be as good. It is better to meditate regularly at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. even if it is for 5 minutes. So Babaji used to say, yes, go ahead, meditate at that time, whenever you get chance, whenever you get an opportunity of meditation, use that time. And if you still cannot, constant remembrance is connect yourself with your open eyes and continue with your work. He's not saying to fight with the family and get rid of in-laws and get rid of husbands and guests, get out of this, I have to meditate. Then you're creating trouble. Family comes first. If you're not going to have peace in the family, how are you ever going to meditate? So wait. Patience has its own rewards. People don't do meditation because whatever it is, it's all right. Meditation is for peace. You can't fight for peace and say, oh, I have to meditate, I want to be at peace. What will happen to that? It's a wrong way of expressing the things.
Babuji also recommends setting aside a particular place for our meditation if possible. If not an entire room, then a particular chair or seat can also be designated for the purpose.
I grew up in a village. And I had seen, we used to have buffaloes and cows. And they had their own stump, specific to each animal. They were tied there. The moment you release them, they all go together outside the village for grazing. In the evening when they return, each cow or buffalo will go to their own respective stump. They don't mess around. You noticed it? They don't go to other stump and stand there. They'll go to their own stump and just stand to be tied up. They have so much of wisdom. This is the spot. This is my spot. We need to designate our stumps in our house. This is my stump. I will meditate here. This is my comfortable place. And the place where we meditate regularly, it creates atmosphere. It creates vibrations. It charges the place.
During meditation, we strive for a state of complete balance or samadhi. To reach this state, we are constantly striving to go deeper into ourselves. We can get our bodies to assist in this endeavor by maintaining a suitable posture.
He gives an example that when the universe was created, there was a bang and everything gushed forth from that outward. Right? Now, when the time will come, when things has to return back to the source, we call in Christianity as doomsday, right? Or in Sanskrit, they call it Mahapralaya, where everything dissolves. So creation is outward, expansive. And when it has to return back to the source, it is contraction. Contraction produces a lot of peace and calmness. When things are happening, moving towards home, you feel at peace. When we contract all our limbs like this, it also creates, in his words, he calls it individual pralaya at a physical level. Then it collapses at a mental level, then at a spirit level, and then you are in samadhi. So with this contracted position, you are able to meditate better.
The exact same posture, however, cannot be recommended for everyone and will vary from person to person. Each individual's body has over the years adopted certain positions that it is comfortable in. A posture that does not come naturally to us can lead to stress in our system and draw our mind away from meditation.
It should be comfortable. Again, Sage Patanjali calls it very briefly and very nicely, Sukham Sthiram Asanam. Adopt the position in such a way that it comforts you, and in that comfort position, you are able to remain steady for as long as you have to meditate. So, comfortable, steady.
The Maxim also talks about giving special attention to purity of mind and body. This is a reference to the attitude we need to maintain towards our meditation practice. Daji gave the example of how attentive one is when a special guest is expected at home. We go out of our way to ensure that everything is in place.
But when we meditate and inviting the most significant part of our life, God, can we be careless? We can't be. When we receive this transmission, which is divine gift, we can't be careless about it. Everything should be spick and span. Mind, heart, soul, everything. See? Everything should be dropped. Forget even who you are.
The idea of following a discipline in our practice has far-reaching effects and is an invaluable asset on our spiritual journey.
Someone was talking to me yesterday about the power of subconscious. It's not in our hands. But surely our activities, when they become automatic, when we bring about automatism in our practice, it becomes subconscious. It becomes a part of our being, part of our physiology, part of our biology, everything it becomes. Like, in the beginning when you're struggling to drive a car, right? You don't know where the pedal accelerator is, where the clutch is, and the windows, and your rear window, mirror. And you're so focused on so many things, and you're anxious at that time, anxiety at a very high level. And when the inspector is there, driver inspection test, my Lord Jesus Christ, please help me, I have my exam today. And you are so tensed up. But later on comes time in life where you drive effortlessly. You don't have to make conscious effort in where my keys are and where the keys will go and where my foot will go on the accelerator. It just happens. It becomes part of you. So over a period of time, when we practice fixed place, fixed time, everything fixed, it becomes our unconscious effort. Patanjali, in his Yoga Sutra, would call it Prayatna Sitilikaran. That is the second sutra of Patanjali. Meaning, not drop, relax all your efforts. Don't try hard too much. When we have to meditate and try, I have to meditate, I have to go in Samadhi. And you try hard. Will you go in Samadhi? It's not possible. You're so anxious. Your efforts are so powerful. Try to sleep with a lot of efforts. I have to sleep right away. I have to get up in the morning at 3 to catch a flight. And you would expect that moment you hit the bed, you're gone. These expectations and trying too hard spoils everything. So just chill, as they say, relax. And Let things happen, let things unfold. But effort should be there, but there should be totally relaxed efforts. And this happens only by practice. In the beginning, it will be a struggle. It will be full of efforts in the beginning, but it becomes part of us, then you see.
You are invited to meditate on the Maxim to reach a personal understanding of it. Internalize the words so that hidden facets and nuances of meaning may unfold within. Practice it so that its efficacy can be genuinely witnessed.
So if you observe, right, as you know, we meditate in the morning, all the energies are going inwards, so it's easy to receive. And towards the evening or during the day, everything is going out. So it's, if I can do my cleaning in the evening process, in the cleaning we are getting rid of. So we are throwing it out. So it becomes easy. So we go with the flow. So this whole practice is designed in such a way, you know, so that we can become in tune with nature. That's why, you know, the fixing the early morning time meditating is more effective, because the nature itself, you know, supports that effort. And once we create that automatism, I mean, as we practice at the same time, same place, if you can do it, you know, the moment we are there, the atmosphere, the time itself, it creates that atmosphere so that I can, you know, get absorbed easily, I can receive. So it's all is about my own preparation. So again, what is surrender is nothing but the preparation. Preparation and prepare ourselves to receive. To me, that is the idea of surrender. So in this preparation, you know, we must face the life. I mean, there is no other option, right? Where can I go? I cannot keep on changing, right? If one office place has a problem, the next office, the same problems I'll face, the next, because you are the same. So we must constantly put our effort to change and realize where the problem is and work on that problem. Okay, with this, so I'll open up, you know, for any discussion, comments, questions. You can unmute yourself and talk. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Shilpaji.
Yeah, so typically the practice is like you do point B cleaning in the morning and also the cleaning in the morning as well before we start the meditation. So if the energy is going in, I want to understand the purpose of cleaning in the morning as well.
So that 10 minutes cleaning is to remove any superficial impressions so that I can kind of pull myself together. It should not be treated as it's not a substitute for the evening cleaning process.
Thank you.
So I see a lot of new names. I mean, those who are new to this, Heartfulness practice, it's a simple practice of meditation. And we have three elements: meditation, cleaning, and prayer. The meditation is a simple one. Meditation is you close your eyes, give a supposition that the light, the higher essence within, drawing my mind inwards, and then we wait. We don't have to concentrate, focus, any of these things. We just wait and let it happen. That's a meditation process. And the cleaning process is because the mind constantly working, it creates so many impressions, and my next actions and next actions are always driven by these impressions, the past impressions. So if I have to have a clarity of mind or the clean mind, because the mind has the ability to create them, it has the ability to remove them. Again, it's all the power of supposition or the work of supposition. So again, we suppose that all these impressions are leaving and the mind is working on it. We allow it to happen anywhere from 15 minutes to half an hour in the evening. And the prayer here is a very simple prayer. Again, it's acknowledging few facts, statement of facts, that I have to receive this higher, I have to become this higher essence itself, mentally and totally rather. And then we are acknowledging that, all my own faults or shortcomings are, becoming a bar for me to advance. And ultimately, we make an humble expression that this higher essence within is pulling me or bringing me to that stage where I want to reach. We say this prayer mentally, once again meditate. The meditation to me is waiting for something to reveal by itself. So we wait. And with that mind, we go to sleep. And again, we continue the day with morning meditation, attend to our duties as we are doing today. And do the cleaning prayer and cherish life. That's all it is. It's a very simple practice if one can adopt it and add these three elements to the practice and do it regularly. And like we saw in the video, so we are sort of becoming in tune with the world, with the nature itself, so that the efforts become easier. All right. Anything?
Brother, I have one question. This is Janvi.
Janvi, yes.
Can you explain a little further, the three things you explained, I see them as the daily practice, how the sitting that we take with the preceptor and the satsang, can you explain a bit further on to those things, how they fit into the...
Yes. So let's talk about the sittings, the one-on-one sessions with the trainers or prefects, preceptor, different names for the trainers. So when I do my cleaning, the will and effort which is put in will help me only to clean the impressions which are immediate or, which I formed during the day. But what about the deeper impressions? In order to clean those deeper impressions, do you need an external assistance or guide who can apply the willpower and do that cleaning on your behalf? So the deeper impressions can be cleaned during this one-on-one or individual sittings, what we call individual meditation sessions, so that the deeper impressions which are formed, we can go as fast as much we can go, and then we can clean those impressions so that so it's a vicious cycle, right? One impression is creating an action, and that action is creating an impression.
Mm-hmm.
It's continuous. So once I remove those impressions, what happens is those tendencies are slowly removed. Again, the tendencies with the help of transmission are removed so that I can create a fresh path for myself. And this fresh path, as we understand, to go inwards, because all these impressions are pulling me outwards, because these impressions are formed due to my outward interactions. So naturally, they have a tendency to take the mind outwards. Because of the deeper cleaning, now the mind is free to go inwards and connect with this higher essence. So that's why this cleaning, deeper cleaning, helps me go inwards. And similarly, the group meditation, again, when there is a collective, minds are coming together, it creates a certain synergy, so that the meditation becomes more effective. That's one aspect of group meditation. And the second aspect of group meditation is, typically in a group meditation session, there's not much individual work happening, it's a collective work. So in order to make the collective work effective, there'll be more transmission for a longer period of time during the group session. So there is, because of the transmission, like I said, most of the tendencies are removed. Removing the impression is one, and removing the tendency is second. Like this example Chariji used to give, or Babuji used to give, right? On a river bed, during the summer, these rivers dry up. There's no water, but the river bed is there. The moment the rain comes, the water comes in. Where does the water flow? Again, into the river bed, because that environment is already set for the water to flow. Similarly, even though the impressions are removed, again the opportunity arises. Because of our tendencies, we attract those impressions much faster. So in order for the things to remove, completely flatten the riverbed, the satsangs, group meditations help. And that also means, we kind of attain certain progress during these group sessions, more than the individual sessions. So, again, it works together. Both of them work together.
Let's say,
So by of the labor, I can reap during these group meditations. So that's why group meditations are also important.
So, can I say that when you are doing a sitting with a preceptor, then you are doing a cleaning with the help of the preceptor?
When you are sitting with the preceptor, you are meditating.
Okay.
And all the cleaning is happening. The cleaning is the role of the preceptor at that point.
I see.
You are a meditator, and the preceptor becomes the cleaner.
Okay. And in the satsang, you're again meditating.
Yes, you're always meditating. Only when during your individual cleaning is the only time where you're cleaning.
Trying to do it yourself.
Trying to do it yourself, yes.
Okay.
So one fundamental question, Shrikant Bhai. So all of this external thing that is taking place, whether you call world and everything else that is created, of course, nature has itself created it, right? So in a way, if wouldn't it be right to kind of even look at it from that context, saying that, well, nature is creating it, so there must be something. So in which case, why all these different actions, right? Especially which you don't even understand, as to where it's headed, where there is a beginning, where there is an end, all of that. So I'm just saying, if nature has created it, nature will take care of it. Why should I even do anything about it?
Yes. So very simple example I'll give you. Sorry for the wrong example, but if I eat, I must defecate. Correct? Is it a very natural process of the body? Yes. But what if the defecation is happening as naturally? That means I'll call that constipation. What if I'm constipated? I need to use something to get rid of that, right? To loosen it up. So now I'm going for an additional aid. So what should have happened naturally because of all the impressions and because the mind have become so extrovert, there is no process for me to come back into my natural state. So now I have to take the aid of something which can help me to bring back to that natural state. So here comes heartfulness to help you with that. And so that one can become so natural, like Chariji explains, one must reach a state as soon as the impression is formed, it will be cleaned. So that means you always have a clean state. But we need to come to that natural state. And how can it happen? Right? So it can only happen, through, again, I have to prepare myself, I have to tune my system. So this is the whole process of tuning. And if you leave it to the nature, then, it takes what we undergo, certain cleansing process as a process of life, but that cleansing is too slow because, if it is cleaning 10%, I'm accumulating 90% more. So there is always an additional baggage. So when can nature clean all that? And does imagine how many lives it takes. So this is a way of accelerating this process. In a way, we are going against the nature's original process so that we can accelerate it. I mean, should we be accelerating it or not? So that we can become in tune. So then, as soon as the impression is formed, it's cleaned. We are always clear of all impressions.
Yeah, so I mean, when I look at it, and when Chariji also used to talk about it, a lot of times people get into spirituality not necessarily from the context of growing spiritually, but from the context of solving their problems, and or because of problems, they get attracted to spirituality, which kind of gives them strength. So we are not even there at a stage wherein we are saying that I want to grow spiritually, I want to become one with the essence and all of that kind of stuff. So if your objective very simply is in this life form that you want to solve your problems of life, they will continue to be there. By spirituality, you will only get a way of maybe managing that better or controlling yourself better, or being one with the essence gives you that strength to overcome it, right? In a way. So yeah, I mean, that was more of a comment rather than a question.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't think anyone has ventured into spirituality for the spiritual growth. But something prompted us, and we should be thanking those issues which prompted us to get here. And now we learned a new information. Now we are acting on the new information because now we understood the bigger problem. We came with a smaller problem, and now we understood there is a bigger problem to solve. So we are trying to solve this bigger problem. It's a problem of life itself.
Yeah, and then if you were to now just look at it holistically, right, from a global perspective, there are very few people who are even attracted or doing this, right? And it is like a minuscule, or you can say like a drop in the ocean, right? So what does it mean from that larger context? Is it that, like, people talk about egregore, right? So is it like a certain percentage of population, if they're able to practice it meaningfully or rightfully, or for that matter, even if it is one master who can do it, pretty much then that kind of attracts the whole thing? Or do you think it's just a movement that's anyway started and it's going to just expand and grow as things grow further? I mean, I'm just trying to get a holistic view of what you think it is.
It's all coming together, I mean, different teachers from different levels, they're working on it. It's right. I mean, no student will join the PhD class straight away. There will be an elementary school teachers, middle school teachers, high school teachers, and finally, one gets to the level of professor. So, I mean, now, but somehow life has pushed us into, this sphere or this level of class. I'm not qualifying this as a PhD or an elementary, whatever that is. So now we must grow, and take this help, and we must grow as much as far as possible.
So then also the question comes is, since life has pushed us in this sphere, then what is our responsibility towards it? Of course, our first responsibility is towards ourselves and being able to practice it well. But as you kind of grow, are there other pointers that we need to kind of grow as well, whether it is through the system or whether it's in terms of participation or any efforts that may be needed? I mean, any thoughts there?
All of them, see what happens is through participation, it's kind of creates a certain belongingness. Belongingness only comes through participation, right? So once we start going to the school, like, day one, you don't belong to that class. But day 100, you say, I belong to this class. So that belongingness comes as the more and more we participate. I mean, why would I say, like, this is my wife or this is my husband? Why would we say that? Because my life partner is participating in my life. So it becomes yours. And similarly, you are participating in your lives, in your wife's life. So then that way you become hers. So it's all participation brings that belongingness. Without participation, that it is very difficult to create that momentum.
Sure, but shouldn't you be the best representation in that case if you're taking up, let's say, like how you are taking up the cause and kind of made the cause as your own?
That's
And
we don't take that pressure on ourselves that I have to become a role model or a representation. Like Daji says, right? I mean, if you want to reach samadhi, you try hard, it doesn't happen. It happens over a period of time, so you just allow it. We are not representing anything. If at all we are representing ourselves. Because
so then in that case, do you need to achieve a certain level to be able to do that, or is it just a willingness to participate?
It's just my willingness to participate and take the benefit out of it, because it's too big to represent anything. See, I can say, I belong to a certain country, I'm a citizen of certain country. That much I'm representing, but am I representing the whole country? Not really. It's just a way of saying, oh, I belong to this country. But what I'm representing is the values I bring. What I'm representing is the character I bring. What I'm representing is, how my spiritual achievement is reflecting in my behavior. I'm not really representing anything other than what I am. All right, good discussion. All right, it's almost over half an hour. I'm not in a hurry, but I want to be cognizant of everyone's time. But I can stay. We can still discuss, and but feel free to drop if you need to. All right, Amita, hope I clarified your surrender question. And like I said, I'm sorry if I said it wrong. I'm not questioning, anyone's understanding here. All that I'm saying is, what is the right way for me to understand this concept of surrender?
No, no, I am also trying to understand. I am new, so I'm just trying to understand. So what I was going by was whatever I had read, right? I read somewhere that when you remove the I from whatever you're doing, like just doing whatever your karma without thinking about its outcome or without thinking that, okay, I achieved it, that's called surrender. And that's probably a basic definition or basic understanding that I was going by. But yes, there are so many different ways of looking at it. So thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. All right, thank you, everyone.
All right, thanks, Shrikant.